First of all, well, Dojo, if you can come out.
Okay.
Because time's getting on, so we're going to have to try and speed it along a little. Hello, we are Dojo.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Now back you go.
Okay.
That was improvised comedy, wasn't it? Hilarious. I'd like to thank Cavamh for asking us to come back again. So obviously nothing was held against us for last year. Nothing happened. And I'm Will, and I'll introduce Richard and Adam. And we're not actually going to do any music this time. But I've got one that I can do that is sort of, I won't say tuneful, and I won't do it first. But that I'll cover the music aspect of it. But I'll just quickly just read a very silly piece, and then I'll introduce Adam. Okay? This one's called Beware Pets That Can Kill You. If you raise a tiger, you should not be surprised. If one day your tiger looks you in the eye and says, "Dude, I am a tiger. Here's what's going on. Here is the deal. I need a meal." Arr! You're gone. Don't mean to condescend, but if you befriend a bear, don't be shocked if you're found lying with your face no longer there. And if your boa constrictor crushes the life out of you, it's only doing what a boa constrictor is supposed to do. Your cute little chimp may well love your jolly japes, but haven't you seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes? He could kill you in a second, man, without a second thought, no matter how much sign language you've made sure he's been taught. If you nurture a lion, do not become bemused if your fully grown big cat starts to look confused and turns to look at you in a most disturbing way and decides to make you his delicious dish of the day. If your black widow spider makes a widow of your wife, you cannot blame the spider for the absence of your life. So don't haunt me with your ghostly face, morose expression blue. Nobody made you pat a pet that is more dangerous than you. Okay, that's the end of that one. And I'm sort of acting as MC as well, so I'll now introduce Adam Foreman. Adam?
Thank you.
Here's your moment.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello. Blimey, mackerel. Holy cow. I have got to speak, and how? I had better perform right now. Will has just given me an in, and I have got to speak like him. Actually, to backtrack 24 hours, just then the phone did ring. Is Adam there? Is he in? It is Will, and I want to speak to him. Listen, the time has come around again. The name is now Cavamh, and today is the AGM. Still backtracking to this time yesterday, if in my drug-addled head I can remember them. Will let me know we have to perform for them, the women and men, and the venue is Splot again. Blimey mackerel and holy cow, let me get on with it, or I will exclaim out. Settle down, Sefyll. Be calm, Cavamh. I do not mean you any harm. Personally, I ain't performed since last year. So now I have come up, I do hope it is going down fine with this rhyme. Though the food here is practically a crime. Only joking. I only say that because it is a rhyme. If it is anyone's, the crime is mine. Because I will not pay a penny for today, and I am having a day practically standing in line. As I guess you have observed, personally, I like my smoking break, and can be seen to come back from them late. Talking of crime, it is only a matter of time before this smoking incurs a big fine. Thank you. And another piece. Well, I will be blown, a flat of my own, a woman to disown, and her fully grown. To us she is known to dress in her gown every night, and give me a dressing down every night when I am in town. In the sun she gets tanned, if she does not get banned. We are all her big fan, and me utterly conventional as a man. Gone the days of my white van, and the girl I knew called Anne. Now you are older, and nursed by a team. At least weekends away with the brain. A spot of sailing, what's that mean? Too big this boat for the stream. Heavenly though, it is a dream. Not a bad lyric, that, said Clive to Derek, the old vicar, the sub-warden, the cleric. Go and say you'll win the day. For this rhyme, no pay. 'Tis good, though, to have my say. You see, my fear I allay. You know what I am going to say? What are you doing there, apart from getting in the way? All is bought and prepaid, even rented and enjoyed. Put in story and verse, let us hope it gets better, not worse. And I finish in time, before carried away in a hearse. That is my fear. A few years yet, then a knacker's yard, excommunication and the vet. Native to Sefyll, emigrated to Cavamh, simply put, I am your big fan. Don't worry though, as they say, the fan van man is going away. The sun girl too is just like us too. She had enough and her life blew. Over and out above her head, she went well and off her they led. It has been known and occasionally said, linen bed not really so red, or because of a loaf of bread. All and the friend of dread, the life you led, now a beer and a mate called Fred. Thanks for listening, it has to be said. The alarm rings, the DJ sings, I am aghast, shocked and stunned. Look everyone, he is good fun. Let's play a joke on him, stuck there in the bin, growing a beard and getting extremely thin. As for love, it is a sin. Let's be serious and have him, again and again. It is nothing to him, stood near the bin. Again, alarm, ring. I had better move and get the food in. She will be back soon. Better tidy the room. Holy cow, Batman, it is doom. Halloween has passed, safe at last. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Oh, Adam.
Yes, well.
I get a bit thirsty sometimes. Like, do you mind coming round to my place and digging a massive deep hole in the garden so I can get some water?
I'd like to, well, but really here, I am not a wow man.
Thank you, Adam. Okay, before I introduce the third member of Dojo, I shall read one more. And this is where technology decides that it wants to get in the way. Okay, this I was going to do that one at the end. Sorry, I'm a bit sort of feeling a bit rushed because of the lack of time. I'll do this one. This one's called Untitled. Sometimes the mind makes the bars of its own prison. Sometimes the mind makes the bars of its own prison. Sometimes the mind makes the bars of its own prison. Sometimes the mind makes the bars of its own prison. Sometimes the mind paints the walls of its own prison. Sometimes the mind locks the door of its own prison. Sometimes the mind is the key to its own prison. Sometimes the mind makes the bars of its own prison. No prison can hold the mind if the mind declines to be imprisoned. No prison can hold the mind if the mind declines to be imprisoned. No prison can hold the mind if the mind declines to be imprisoned. No prison can hold the mind if the mind declines to be imprisoned. Okay, that's simple that one. For anyone who doesn't know, the Dojo has sort of developed in the last few years, and we've done performance and verse events, and we've also started making some short films, which they're basically filmed in my flat, but we've tried to do, and we've got better at, and you know, sometimes people don't like to say they've got better at something, but if you've done it in a form that you can actually watch afterwards, you can kind of tell. And so we've got a bit better at doing, we just did a Halloween special video that can be seen on YouTube for anybody who wants to see it, or might want to. And also, because I've been doing self-promotion there in that moment, when we do our dojo stuff, we actually, maybe slightly embarrassingly, use cups with dojo on it, so it feels more business-like. And really, it does seem to work. Anyway, next I would like to stop rambling and introduce Fritz O'Skennick for some comic, but also some quite personal verse. So, Mr. Fritz O'Skennick.
I've been requested here today to perform a public service announcement. It is an event that happens on a regular basis. It affects every man, woman and child on the planet. So without further ado, I bring to you my thesis in premenstrual tension. Premenstrual tension is that time of the month when the male can do absolutely nothing right. He lives in fear of his life, and he'd rather kill himself than await the killing blow that could come at any time. It's that time when reality takes a break for about 5 days, and the females in his family unit swap places with their evil parallel universe counterparts. Or maybe they pull a Jekyll and Hyde. Not too sure on the details. Further analysis is needed into this phenomenon. Now that said, there are signs in the build-up to the event. Number 1, it's not your imagination. There is a dark cloud developing above your house. It's nature's warning of the coming storm. Heed it. Number 2, those alarm bells you hear ringing in your head. It's not paranoia. It's a repressed memory of this time last month resurfacing, where your mind has tried to protect you from the horror. This is simply a biological coping mechanism that activates in the male every 3rd week of the month. Complete amnesia of the previous 5 days allows the said male to live in blissful ignorance and denial of the developing post-traumatic stress syndrome. This also accounts for the somewhat shorter lifespan of the male. Number 3, the females at this time will experience both physical and psychological changes that are quite often misinterpreted by the male. Symptoms include A, 7 dwarf syndrome. It is called such because of the nature of the developing personalities that include grumpy, horny, weepy, angry, clingy, evil, and dopey. It is important that the male not be fooled when dealing with weepy or clingy, because despite the natural response to comfort, they could become grumpy, angry, or evil at a moment's notice and subject to change without warning. So as a safety precaution, the male should always throw a chocolate chip muffin like a grenade at the female's feet and retreat quickly. B, long-term memory retrieval, whereby the female will both recall and recant everything the male has ever said or done wrong. At this time, it is imperative for his own safety that the male remember that whether he is right or wrong, he is wrong. C, deposit in venom. The female, while experiencing varying degrees of rage, will spit poison at the male that may escalate to fire should the male speak out at any time during this process. It is believed that the poison sacs develop in the female's ankles, as there is often noticeable swelling at this time. D, rapid cleaning. The female will dust and clean at approximately 10 times her normal rate of speed, as she chants disparaging remarks and comments about the male. If at any time the male should ask if she is okay, he will receive a very cold, fine. It is at this time he should retreat quickly. Number 4. The male is likely to find all manner of strange paraphernalia in the bathroom that will both baffle and confuse him. Words like wings, strings, promises of comfort and freshness while playing tennis, swimming or cycling only deepen the mystery of their relevance to events. What has been established is that these items are not for use with general sports equipment, and although they offer limited absorbency in swimming, they are neither comfortable nor fresh when wrapped around a tennis racket or bicycle handlebars. Further study is needed. Number 5. The male will experience in varying degrees of dread that increase in intensity at this time. This is simply mortal fear. And although it may appear unfounded, it becomes more justified in his mind as the days pass. Number 6. As the female becomes increasingly consumed by the event, she becomes a vessel that quite literally accelerates the male's age, causing tremendous mental turmoil and stress as she absorbs his life force with her irritability, rage and accusations that have no basis in truth or logic. Interesting to note that this also contributes to the male's shortening lifespan. Number 7. As the event reaches its climax, it also becomes the most critical time for the male. The female fully embraces the event and develops extreme strength and a keen knowledge of weapons expertise, and can at will create a lethal weapon out of any object that is within reach at a moment's notice. This is called atemosis, whereby the male will find himself avoiding projectiles of all shapes and sizes in a manner largely unseen outside of the Matrix trilogy. Should the male survive the event, so will begin his repression of short-term memory. Lasting effects of this recurring phenomenon include perceiving the reminding nature of the female's voice as white noise and the inability to see sought-after objects before his eyes. The female at this time develops a elated euphoria and feeling of well-being that the darkness has subsided. Perceptual stimuli includes fluffier clouds, brighter skies, and that hunk down the road washing his Porsche. In conclusion, more study into the cause of this phenomenon is needed. Thank you very much. Just in case I reach a lynch mob on the long way out, I was requested to do that one. Another one that I've been requested to do is a bit more serious. It's about autism and a parent's journey, well, coming to terms with the fact that their child has autism. So it's called Autistic Tendencies, a parent's journey. Stage 1, denial. Autism? No, I don't think so. Sure, she may be a little slow on the uptake, but for God's sake, she's 3 years old. She'll catch up. She's just a little behind, that's all. It's really no big deal. Everything will be fine. Stage 2, anger. I know she's still not talking. I know she still won't make eye contact. Why is she throwing herself on the floor like that? What is your problem? Do you think I'm a bad parent? Do you think it's my fault? What does autism mean? I don't know. Why won't she hug me? Stage 3, bargaining. Oh, please, someone help my little girl. Please make her normal, I beg you. I'll do anything. I'll pay anything. Just please help her. I'd give anything if she could just say I love you just once. Please. Our Father, who art in heaven. Stage 4, depression. How could this happen to me? This is not how my life was supposed to be. I had such high hopes for her. So much I wished that she could do. My child is going to be solely dependent on me forever. Is it my fault? Could have I done something differently? Mourning a life that should have been. Lost to the depths of dark despair, clawing my way back from the abyss in my struggle to let it all go. I don't think I can cope. Stage 5, acceptance. She is so beautiful, forever innocent, and she's trying so very hard to make sense of the world around her. Trying so very hard to reach out and express herself. She hugs and she whistles and she loves music. She has a sense of humour. She dresses her dolls and she plays with them, creating a language for them to communicate in her world. She makes me so very proud because she tries so very hard. And though I may never hear her say I love you, it's okay. Because she says it in the joy in her eyes and the light in her smile and the laughter in her games. I love you so very much, Marnie May. Thank you very much. And just to finish off, I'm going to do another funny one now. It's with my Welsh character. Okay. Hello, Fritz. I'd like to read you a poem. It's all about a journey I took to the Orient a little while back. It's called Eastern Wisdom, Western Fools. I sought the wisdom of the East, the temple on the hill. For days I walked to reach its peak by sheer force of will. They left me waiting at the gate, no food or drink that day. I figured it must be a test to prove my worth to stay. On day 2 they pelted me with rocks from in the yard. Endurance is the key to faith, to wait although it's hard. Are you still here? I heard one ask. Yeah, he won't fuck off. I pelted him with all the rocks we kept inside the trough. Bring him in, we'll have some fun and feed him guru crap and teach him that his Western ways are just a honey trap. And so they took me in that day and told me I should rest, because that on tomorrow's dawn I will begin my test. At 4:30 they woke me up, an air horn in my ear, and put piranhas in my pants, my lesson not so clear. And so I pulled the buggers off and asked them what the hell. a lesson in humility of which you pass so well. Next I walked upon hot coals that blistered aching feet. Stay out of the kitchen if you cannot stand the heat. Then barefoot I walked upon the Rocky Mountain Pass, squatted on a red-hot spike, its tip stuck up my arse. Trousers down and legs apart, and stood like sat on saddle, and in come two young laughing girls, with each bestowed a paddle. Endurance is your test today, to see if loser falls. A girl in front and one behind played ping-pong with my walls. Bruised and battered and fatigued, I settled down to dinner. They filled me up with rice and beans, the food of a beginner. They made me sleep upon my front, and spread my arse cheeks wide. Matches holding them apart, such pain I could have cried. But it just got worse from there, the flame was just the start, to burn the gas that I popped out each time I dared to fart. It burnt the hairs upon my balls and all across my arse. The test had been the beans I ate, that filled me up with gas. Thankful when the morning came, I groaned through lack of sleep. And when they dragged me from my bed, I wanted just to weep. They took my clothes and tied me to a chair that sat outside, as women danced seductively that made me grin so wide. Rubbing honey on my bits, they made me feel alive, until I saw the beekeeper, who brought an angry hive. He used my bits to break the crust, and left it in my lap, before he grinned and raised his hand and gave the hive a slap. I howled and thrust to no avail, and begged them please no more. I think I've had enough of tests that hurt and may leave me sore. So they quickly hosed me off and rid me of the bees, and cut the ropes that bound me there, and dropped me to my knees. Fritz, son, that was your last test, to know you've had enough. You could have said that on day one it seemed you like it rough. Now go back to the world of man and live the lessons learned, and seek the life you're looking for, the gift you have earned. And so they saw me off that day, a humbled, wiser man, enlightened to a wiser world to teach the things I can. They kept my wallet and my keys, materialistic crap, to help me not be tempted by the western honey trap. Strange, I found my car was gone. My house was stripped to bare. My bank account was empty when I checked for travel fare. But they'd warned before I'd left, that fate would show a sign, that I should lead a simple life, those wise men so benign. Hang on, you don't think? No! Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fritz. Quite a range of stuff from Fritz, I think you'd agree. Sorry, I've done MCing for a few poetry gigs recently, so I seem to have a few fallback phrases. So I just went, range of stuff, I think you'll agree. And I'll introduce myself. Hi, I'm going to read again. This is one I wrote for a mental health related poetry event a while ago now, and the event was called Doors of Perception. So I just wrote something that's called Doors of Perception. And it's not so much a poem, it's just kind of like a user's guide to your doors of perception. Anyway. Congratulations upon your wise decision to purchase your doors of perception from IKEA. Although there are no specific rules about how to use your doors of perception, we are legally, morally, ethically and metaphysically bound to advise a certain level of dedication on your part to ensuring the hinges attaching your doors of perception to the wall between the physical and non-physical planes of existence are kept well lubricated. Unless these hinges are properly maintained, there is a serious risk that eventually your doors of perception will become stuck in either the open or closed position. Permanently open or permanently closed doors of perception may be hazardous to your mind, body, and relationships. This may be because permanently open doors of perception may constantly flood you with incessant mental stimulation at the expense of a solid sense of self-identity. Permanently closed doors of perception may result in you becoming set in your ways, fixed in your views, and so unshakable in your prejudices that you find it impossible to communicate with anyone who does not share them. Ideally, you should be able to open and close your doors of perception as you see fit. They will last you a lifetime, whether you maintain them or not. But we, at IKEA, while we appreciate your custom, We cannot accept any responsibility for any negative consequences arising from you ignoring our consumer advice regarding your doors of perception, because without the proper use of the appropriate lubrication, your doors of perception, or indeed you, may become unhinged. Just a couple more now. It's not too long. This one's called A Short Poem. In the web-like pathways of the mind, sometimes you're the spider, sometimes you're the fly. That was a very short poem. Okay. And finally, I'd just like to read something I think is quite special. And I'm going to read it in its original language, because even though the words won't quite come across, all the emotion contained in the words is undeniable. And it was first discovered a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's the broken-hearted Wookiee lament. People usually laugh during this one. I'm dying. I'm dying. That was the broken-hearted Wookiee lament. Rest of Dojo, please come out. Adam, Fritz, and Will, Dojo instead. Thank you. I think basically everybody has to be out in the next 5 minutes or so.
I just want to say a really big thanks to you, because we really were running late on everything, and it meant that everything was hurried at the end, and some people have left. Thank you so much for coming again and
thank you for having us.
Thank you.